All right, with so much going on these days, especially with the issues that we're seeing in Israel, the war, all of this crazy stuff that's happening, I was, just considering, okay, how do we process all of this and how do we consider this? And in this process, I came across these verses in the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, starting in verse 17. Listen to this. It says this. This is God speaking, of course. For I will create a new heaven and a new earth. The past events will not be remembered or come to mind. Then be glad and rejoice forever in what I am creating, for I will create Jerusalem to be a joy and its people to be a delight. I will rejoice in Jerusalem and be glad in its people. The sound of weeping and crying shall no longer be heard in her. This is especially considering how much is happening there in Israel, how much difficult things have happened in the past. And of course, this prophecy is speaking of a time, when so many bad things had happened in Israel because of the sin of the people and all of that. But notice, God says He's going to make this all new, and He says the past events will not be remembered or come to mind. That's verse 17 of Isaiah 65. And this is something that people often ask. It's like, okay, are we going to remember this or that? All of these things concerning, family members or different things, the difficult things. Are we going to remember how we blew it from the past? But even this is just talking about God intervening in a way that He's going to make a society according to His own plan. He's going to make a place according to His own plan that's not going to be, tied up in, whether it's politics, whether it's hostility, all of those things are going to be eliminated. And, I spent some time thinking about this. Are we not going to think back because the events are bad in our lifetime, or are we not going to think back because what He makes is so good? And I personally think it's the second. God's creation is going to be so good and so awesome that we're not going to be dwelling on how it was. Now listen, if you talk to somebody, especially here, in America, you talk to somebody that's been to Israel, that's been to Jerusalem, and they're just like, wow, what a place. You see the pictures and you think, man, it's obviously there's something amazing about it already. There's so many shows about it, so many things exploring the history of the city of Jerusalem, exploring all of that. It's a spectacular place. Well, basically the way I'm reading this is it's going to be better by a long shot. What God does is going to be beyond that. We've had this conversation before, like what we lift up as the best, the greatest, this would be the most awesome thing. Where God starts is even beyond that. He starts much higher up. His mindset is completely different than ours. The way that He considers things and thinks about them, it is completely different than what we consider or think about. But I do want to say this. When you look at this, He says the sound of weeping and crying will no longer be heard in her. And this is the thing. This is why our hope is in the Lord, because we know He's the only one that can actually heal all of these, all of the hurt and all of the damage that's done by sin in this world, right? The influence of the devil, the sin of man, all of this brings such destruction. And the only one that can actually heal that is the Lord. And He's going to make something that is so good. He's preparing. Look, this is not a new prophecy. This is not something somebody just said, right? We're talking thousands of years. He has got a plan already in place to mend the hearts, right? To bring forgiveness to the individual, to bring hope, to bring joy, even in difficult situations. That's already in place. But the day is going to come when he is going to institute that in the world around us as well. And we look forward to that day. I'm sure those that are going through such difficulty in Israel right now are looking forward to that day as well. And I just wanted to put this out there as a reminder, man, the Lord has the best in mind for us. We get caught up in the situations that we're in on a daily basis. We get mired up in what's happening around us, right? Because it's our life right now. But this life is not going to go on forever. It's short, and the next chapter of it is the most important one, and it's the best one. When we walk with the Lord, when we've given him our heart, when we put our trust in the completed work on the cross. So may the Lord richly bless you. I hope this ministers to you today. I know a lot of people are grieving, and that's good. It's when we see what's going on in the world, it should break our hearts, right? I'm not trying to erase that, because that doesn't need to be erased. What I'm saying is, we actually need to just remember that this is all going to get fixed, and the Lord has a plan in it all. So may the Lord richly bless you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave me a comment if it ministered to you. I'll see you again tomorrow. God bless.